Good afternoon, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny. This is a Friday, so this is a Friday Reads. I'm sitting in my study. Somebody made a comment that, why am I always filming and you see in the background the kitchen? They said, I want to see your books. And so I start, but I've watched videos over the years, booktubers, and some are sitting in their bedrooms, some are sitting in their kitchens, some are sitting in their dining rooms, and some sit with their books behind them. Some people sit on a couch and their cat or the dog is behind them. So I don't know what the beef was. I mean, I did get lighting installed a couple of weeks ago down the lower level, and I could film down there, but I'm filming in my study because my wife is here and she's moving around in the living room and dining room and the kitchen, and there's too much distraction, so I came to my study. I've filmed over the years here in the study, where I have some of my favorite books. But today is Friday, it is August the 29th, 2025. It's 2:06 in the afternoon. It's 71 degrees inside the hermit hut. And yeah, I thought about showing you more books from the as you know, I've been making these. I made 2 videos of showing the books that were given to me from a couple of years ago. A fellow here in town passed away, and I knew him from his blog, and he lives here in Holland, and we exchanged greetings, and I read his blog, and I knew, and when he was dying, Carol visited them down, they don't live far from where we live, just a couple blocks, and so I received this text that Eileen wanted to know if I wanted these books. I showed these. She said, does Johnny want these? And I said, sure, I want them. So we made a time to go down there and pick up the Hebrew Bible, a translation with commentary by Robert Alter, 3 volumes. And then she was donating all these books to the Book Nook, and she said, do you want any of these books? And there's 2 bookcases upstairs and downstairs, and I said sure. So you know the story, I've repeated it in the other videos, and so I took a bunch of books, and I thought about doing another video of the number 3, but I thought maybe I'd do that Sunday. We got all the time in the world. I'm not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere. I made a list of all the books. This is book list number 1 is the one I was going to do. I did book list number 5. I showed you those books. Yeah, I showed you those books. So there's a lot more books. But I'll get around to it. And I haven't done the Book Nook haul. I haven't done the Saugatuck Library used library sale. I haven't done, there's so many books, and so I thought I would do sitting in my study and show you the books I've been reading lately. I did get a CD in the mail. I got the new Super Chunk. The new Super Chunk is titled Songs in the Key of Yikes. Yeah, Super Chunk's been around 30 years. They started a record label. The record label is Merge Records. They started that label 30 years ago, I think. Maybe but they put out records. Superchunk, my favorite groups. I think the last thing I got Superchunks. I have all Superchunks, and they're kind of like an indie rock kind of band. I really like them, so I got that in the mail this week. Now it's kind of crazy, you know. I still buy CDs even though I don't listen to music because I've gone deaf in my ear due to tinnitus, and I can't stand noise. But I do listen to music when I'm driving around, which I rarely leave. I rarely drive, but I'm a completist. And I do plan to listen to it. Sometimes I get in the mood to listen to music, but I still got it, new Superchunk. And there's CDs in my study here. So what have I been reading? First of all, as you know, in the mornings, my wife and I, we have devotions, and we're reading through the New Testament, and we're into the Epistle of Hebrews. Then at night, we are reading through the prophecy of Ezekiel. Now, I got out to read, now I'm going to be completely honest with you, I got out the NIV application commentary on Hebrews by Ian M. Dunghill. Now, I got this commentary out, and I also got out the Reformation commentary on Ezekiel and Daniel. And then I got this Puritan commentary on Ezekiel by William Greenhill. And I decided I'm not going to read these. I'm not going to even get into Ezekiel. I'm going to take these downstairs in the lower level because I haven't been reading them, and I'm not really in the mood. I was kind of in the mood to read on Jeremiah from the Jerome, the ancient Christian text commentary on Jeremiah by Jerome. But I'm not really in the mood to read or look at Ezekiel really in depth. Just listen to it, meditate upon the prophecy of Ezekiel. So I'm going to take these commentaries on Ezekiel downstairs after I make this video. So what I've been reading in the mornings primarily are just 2 books, and I've shown this. I got this book last week, Union with Christ in the Life of Faith by Fred Sanders. I've been kind of reading this in the mornings, and so I've been reading this, and I've been reading Volume 5 of Theoretical Practical Theology and Application of Redemption and the Church by Van Mastricht. I kind of read these things in the mornings as I am writing in my paper diary. I'm on page 713. I thought I was a lot more than that. I'm going to make sure. Yeah, I'm on page... Today I'm on page 713 in my paper diary. I have to get my October, my September diary ready. Probably do that today, this weekend. So yeah, in the mornings I read Union with Christ and the Life of Faith by Fred Sanders, reading Van Mastricht. I showed you, I have the other volumes of Mastricht. See, here's Van Mastricht. You have Volume 1, the Promagama, Theoretical Practical Theology, translated out of Latin by Todd M. Reasoner. And then there's Volume 2, Theoretical Practical Theology, Faith in the Triune God, Volume 2, by Petrus Van Mastricht. And then there's Volume 3, Theoretical Practical Theology, The Works of God and the Fall of Man, Volume 3, Petrus Van Mastricht. And then there's Volume 4, Redemption in Christ, by Petrus Van Mastricht, translated out of Latin by Todd Reasoner, who is, he's Associate Professor of Church History at Westminster Theological Seminary, and edited by Joel R. Beakey, who is Puritan Reformed Theological Seminary in Grand Rapids. And he puts out books. This is all published by Reformation Heritage Books, these volumes. And they just came out with Volume 5, which I'm reading. I'm always reading Van Mastricht, especially since they've come out. He's really soul enriching, edifying. These are like I mentioned in the video, people ask me, what is your favorite books or book? And since I got into Van Mastricht, he's one of my favorites. I treasure these, and I'm really thankful that I can read them, not only with my mind, but with my affections and heart. It's just been a blessing reading him. And there's still volumes 6 and 7 to come out in the future. So this is Van Mastricht, which I've been reading and rereading, but primarily reading right now, Volume 5. I also have this book on Van Mastricht that I look at. This is The Art of Living to God, a study of method and piety in the Theoretical Practical Theologica of Petrus Van Mastricht, 1630 to 1706 by Adrian C. Nettle. So I've been reading those in the mornings. I really can't get into Ezekiel. I'm kind of reading Ezekiel, and I do look things up, but not a deep dive. As far as what I'm reading in the, as you know, in the afternoons I read nonfiction, and I've been reading Samuel Johnson, A Life by David Nokes. I've been reading this as my nonfiction in the afternoons. In the afternoons, like right now, it's 2:16 in the afternoon. I read this, and I've been reading Samuel Johnson's Selected Works, edited by Robert D. Merrill Jr. at the Yale edition. I've been reading these. On nice days, afternoons, I sit out in the front, in the driveway, and I read Samuel Johnson. Been reading through this in the afternoons, and reading. I've read 2 other biographies of Samuel Johnson, but I'm just reading this. And I've been reading at night the Jonathan Lethem, the Brooklyn crime novel. So this is what I've been reading before I go to bed, literary fiction. I'm almost done with this, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to read next. So yeah, for Friday reads, Friday night, or Friday in the evenings, I read literary fiction, Jonathan Lethem, Brooklyn crime novel. Afternoons and early evenings, Samuel Johnson, A Life, the selected works of Samuel Johnson. I have these other books I've been reading on Samuel Johnson, The Life of Reading by Robert DeMaria. And then I also been reading Samuel Johnson's Dictionary of the Language of Learning by Robert DeMaria. But I haven't been this week, so this is a Friday reads. But if I do read something on Johnson and going into September, I'll also be reading these. When I take a break from these, Samuel Johnson, sometimes I take a break and I've been reading Wild Thing, The Life of Paul Gauguin by Sue Petrus. Now I haven't read it this week. I take a little break, but I do plan to get back into this. And I'm still reading the Covent Garden Ladies book that inspired the acclaimed BBC series Harlots by Hallie Rubenhold. This is nonfiction about the underground, the ladies of the night, and other 18th century characters. It's basically a history of London, 18th century London. So those are things I read. I've been reading this week, and not really much. I spend a lot of time watching lawn transformation videos, and I watch other videos. I watch BookTube. Of course, I talk to my wife. The weather's been nice, so I've been out working on the lawn, mowing and trimming. And yesterday I raked my flower garden of weeds and some other things. And so I stay busy, but I'm always reading. I got next week, Thursday, a commentary in the Reformation series is coming on the Revelation of the last book of the New Testament of the Bible. Revelations is coming in the mail next week. I have a biography coming in the first week of September. Some biography I ordered. And plus I have all those books I got from Steve's library, the fellow who passed away. So I got lots to read. I got pen and paper. I'm still got my brain, even though I'm 73 years old. Haven't lost my noodles. So yeah, not much else. Did I show you I think I showed you what I spent. I told you that my oldest son and his family gave me an Amazon gift card, and I bought The Life of a Day Like Any Other, The Life of James Schuyler by Nathan Kerman. I bought this, and then I bought James Schuyler's selected poems. So I read these off and on throughout the day and the night. I like reading poetry, and I never got into the poetry of James Schuyler. He was one of the New York poets, along with Frank O'Hara and others. I mean, like he was friends with the poet John Ashbery and Barbara, other poets. But anyway, I've been reading those. James Schuyler. I like poetry. I just bought recently the collected poems of Delmore Schwartz, and I also have been reading those. I have a biography on Delmore Schwartz, The Life of the American Poet by James Atlas. And then I have this book, And Dream Begin, Responsibilities and Other Stories by Delmore Schwartz. And yeah, these books, I haven't gotten to reading these yet. Paris and Ruins, Love, War, and the Birth of Impressionism by Sebastian Smiling. So, there's all kinds of books down here. When you're a bookworm, you always got books and books coming in the mail. So that's it. Just about 21 minutes on a Friday Reads. Yeah, I'm really enjoying reading Union with Christ and the Life of Faith by Fred Sanders. Pick it out. Like I said, I've been reading Jonathan Lethem, and I'm kind of in the middle about it. I mean, as far as literary value, I don't know. I've read Jonathan Lethem, a lot of his novels, and I just like reading them. So, yeah, I understand Samuel Johnson and Prophecy of Ezekiel, going through the Epistle of Hebrews, and writing in my diary, and the days go by. I did get a new field notes. As you know, I collect field notes. They're all over in my study. Field notes, field notes. I got a whole. I collect them. Our second son Josiah got me into the field notes, and I don't open them. I don't write in them. I'm collecting them, and then I told our second son Josiah, that when I die and that's his inheritance from his dad, my collection of field notes. This is the newest one I got. It's called Is a River Alive? And then this one, Birds. There's all kinds of them. I got all over the place here. So I got all kinds of field notes. It's the United States of Letterpress. Field notes, 60-page, 6x8 notebook, durable material made in U.S. Field notes. Field notes. Field notes. Field notes. Field notes. Field notes. These are the ones I keep on my bookcase, because I like to write. I keep like these little things, moleskins. So yeah, so I'll sign off. Now you've seen my field notes, you've seen my books, you've seen my paper diary, you've seen my study, you've seen the books. Yeah, check out the new Superchunk CD. Songs in the Key of Yikes. So I hope you had a good reading week. Have a good reading weekend. Thank you for the comments. I'll make more videos showing those books I got from that fellow who passed away, his library, and more stories I can share about those books in the future. So once again, have a good weekend. Thank you for the comments. And I will fill down the lower level. Maybe the next video I'll do that so you can know that I do have a library. Some people think, oh no, you don't have any books. You don't really have a library. You don't really have, all you have is a kitchen. No, I do have a library, which I'm very thankful for, because what would the world be without books? So I'll sign off. May the Lord bless. Until next time, bye.